am Beth, and welcome to 2 Kings 22:11. When the king heard the words of the book of the law, he tore his clothes. Reading the Bible to you with the Apocrypha, and today's reading is from Sirach chapter 30 through 33. He who loves his son will whip him often, so that he may rejoice at the weight he turns out. He who disciplines his son will profit by him, and will boast of him among acquaintances. He who teaches his son will make his enemies envious, and will glory in him among his friends. When the father dies, he will not seem to be dead, for he has left behind him one like himself, whom in his life he looked upon with joy, and at death without grief. He has left him behind an avenger against his enemies, and one to repay the kindness of his friends. Whoever spoils his son will bind up his wounds, and will suffer heartache at every cry. An unbroken horse turns out stubborn, and an unchecked son turns out headstrong. Pamper a child, and he will terrorize you. Play with him, and he will grieve you. Do not laugh with him, or you will have sorrow with him, and in the end you will gnash your teeth. Give him no freedom in his youth, but do not ignore his errors. Bow down his neck in his youth, and beat his sides while he is young, or else he will become stubborn and disobey you, and you will have sorrow of soul from him. Discipline your son, and make his yoke heavy, so that you may not be offended by his shamelessness. Better off poor, healthy, and fit, than rich and afflicted in body. Health and fitness are better than any gold, and a robust body than countless riches. There is no wealth better than the health of body, and no gladness above joy of heart. Death is better than a life of misery, and eternal sleep than chronic sicknesses. Good things poured out upon a mouth that is closed are like offerings of food placed upon a grave. Of what use to an idol is a sacrifice, for it can neither eat nor smell? So is one punished by the Lord. He sees with his eyes and groans as a eunuch groans when embracing a girl. Do not give yourself over to sorrow, and do not distress yourself deliberately. A joyful heart is life itself, and rejoicing lengthens one's lifespan. Indulge yourself and take comfort, and remove sorrow far from you, for sorrow has destroyed many, and no advantage ever comes from it. Jealousy and anger shorten life, and anxiety brings on premature old age. Those who are cheerful and merry at table will benefit from their food. Wakefulness over wealth wastes away one's flesh, and anxiety about it drives away sleep. Wakeful anxiety prevents slumber, and a severe illness carries off sleep. The rich person toils to amass a fortune, and when he rests, he fills himself with his dainties. The poor person toils to make a meager living, and if ever he rests, he becomes needy. One who loves gold will not be justified. One who pursues money will be led astray by it. Many have come to ruin because of gold, and their destruction has met them face to face. It is a stumbling block to those who are avid for it, and every fool will be taken captive by it. Blessed is the rich person who is found blameless, and who does not go after gold. Who is he, that we may praise him? For he has done wonders among his people. Who has been tested by it and found perfect? Let it be for him a ground for boasting. Who has had the power to transgress and did not transgress, and to do evil and did not do it? His prosperity will be established, and the assembly will proclaim his acts of charity. Are you seated at the table of the great? Do not be greedy at it, and do not say, "How much food there is here!" Remember that a greedy eye is a bad thing. What has been created more greedy than the eye? Therefore it sheds tears for any reason. Do not reach out your hand for everything you see, and do not crowd your neighbor at the dish. Judge your neighbor's feelings by your own, and in every matter be thoughtful. Eat what is set before you, like a well-bred person, and do not chew greedily, or you will give offense. Be the first to stop, as befits good manners, and do not be insatiable, or you will give offense. If you are seated among many others, do not help yourself before they do. How ample a little is for a well-disciplined person. He does not breathe heavily when in bed. Healthy sleep depends on moderate eating. He rises early and feels fit. The distress of sleeplessness and of nausea and colic are with the glutton. If you are overstuffed with food, get up to vomit, and you will have relief. Listen to me, my child, and do not disregard me, and in the end you will appreciate my words. In everything you do, be moderate, and no sickness will overtake you. People bless someone who is liberal with food, and their testimony to his generosity is trustworthy. The city complains of someone who is stingy with food, and their testimony to his stinginess is accurate. Do not try to prove your strength by wine drinking, for wine has destroyed many. As the furnace tests the work of the smith, so wine tests hearts when the insolent quarrel. Wine is very life to human beings if taken in moderation. What is life to one who is without wine? It has been created to make people happy. Wine drunk at the proper time and in moderation is rejoicing of heart and gladness of soul. Wine drunk to excess leads to bitterness of spirit, to quarrels and stumbling. Drunkenness increases the anger of a fool to his own hurt, reducing his strength and adding wounds. Do not reprove your neighbor at a banquet of wine, and do not despise him in his merrymaking. Speak no word of reproach to him, and do not distress him by making demands of him. If they make you master of the feast, do not exalt yourself. Be among them as one of their number. Take care of them first, and then sit down. When you have fulfilled all your duties, take your place, so that you may be merry along with them, and receive a garland for your excellent leadership. Speak, you who are older, for it is your right, but with accurate knowledge, and do not interrupt the music. Where there is entertainment, do not pour out talk. Do not display your cleverness at the wrong time. A ruby seal in a setting of gold is a concert of music at a banquet of wine. A seal of emerald in a rich setting of gold is the melody of music with good wine. Speak, you who are young, if you are obliged to, but no more than twice, and only if asked. Be brief. Say much in few words. Be as one who knows and can still hold his tongue. Among the great, do not act as their equal, and when another is speaking, do not babble. Lightning travels ahead of the thunder, and approval goes before one who is modest. Leave in good time, and do not be the last. Go home quickly, and do not linger. Amuse yourself there to your heart's content, but do not sin through proud speech. But above all, bless your Maker, who fills you with his good gifts. One who seeks God will accept his discipline, and those who rise early to seek him will find favor. One who seeks the law will be filled with it, but the hypocrite will stumble at it. Those who fear the Lord will form true judgments, and they will kindle righteous deeds like a light. The sinner will shun reproof, and will find a decision according to his liking. A sensible person will not overlook a thoughtful suggestion. An insolent and proud person will not be deterred by fear. Do nothing without deliberation, but when you have acted, do not regret it. Do not go on a path full of hazards, and do not stumble on an obstacle twice. Do not be overconfident on a smooth road, and give good heed to your paths. Guard yourself in every act, for this is the keeping of the commandments. One who keeps the law preserves himself, and one who trusts the Lord will not suffer loss. No evil will befall someone who fears the Lord, but in trials, such a one will be rescued again and again. The wise will not hate the law, but someone who is hypocritical about it is like a boat in a storm. The sensible person will trust in the law. For such a one, the law is as dependable as a divine oracle. Prepare what to say, and then you will be listened to. Draw upon your training, and give your answer. The heart of a fool is like a cartwheel, and his thoughts like a turning axle. A mocking friend is like a stallion that neighs, no matter who the rider is. Why is one day more important than another? Then all the daylight in the year is from the sun. By the Lord's wisdom they were distinguished, and he appointed the different seasons and festivals. Some days he exalted and hallowed, and some he made more ordinary days. All human beings come from the ground, and humankind was created out of the dust. In the fullness of his knowledge, the Lord distinguished them and appointed their different ways. Some he blessed and exalted, and some he made holy and brought near to himself. But some he cursed and brought low, and turned them out of their place. Like clay in the hand of the potter, to be molded as he pleases, so are all in the hand of their Maker, to be given whatever he decides. Good is the opposite of evil, and life the opposite of death. So the sinner is opposite of the godly. Look at all the works of the Most High. They come in pairs, one opposite the other. Now I was the last to keep vigil. I was like a gleaner following the grape pickers. By the blessing of the Lord I arrived first, and like a grape picker, I filled my winepress. Consider that I have not labored for myself alone, but for all who seek instruction. Hear me, you who are great among the people, and you leaders of the congregation. Pay heed. To son or wife, to brother or friend, do not give power over yourself as long as you live, and do not give your property to another in case you change your mind and must ask for it. While you are still alive and have breath in you, do not let anyone take your place. For it is better that your children should ask from you than that you should look to the hand of your children. Excel in all you do. Bring no stain upon your honor. At the time when you end the days of your life, in the honor of death, distribute your inheritance. Fodder and a stick and burdens for a donkey, bread and discipline, and work for a slave. Set your slave to work, and you will find rest. Leave his hands idle, and he will seek liberty. Yoke and thong will bow to the neck. Fodder and a stick and burdens for a donkey, bread and discipline and work for a slave. Set your slave to work, and you will find rest. Leave his hands idle, and he will seek liberty. Yoke and thong will bow the neck. And for a wicked slave, there are racks and tortures. Put him to work in order that he may not be idle, for idleness teaches much evil. Set him to work as is fitting for him, and if he does not obey, make his fetters heavy. Do not be overbearing towards anyone, and do nothing unjust. If you have but one slave, treat him like yourself, because you have bought him with blood. If you have but one slave, treat him like a brother, for you will need him as you need your life. If you ill-treat him and he leaves you and runs away, which way will you go to seek him? Hebrews chapter 11, verses 21 through 39. By faith, Jacob, when dying, blessed each of the sons of Joseph, bowing in worship over the top of his staff. By faith, Joseph, at the end of his life, made mention of the exodus of the Israelites and gave instructions about his burial. By faith, Moses was hidden by his parents for 3 months after his birth, because they saw that the child was beautiful, and they were not afraid of the king's edict. By faith, Moses, when he was grown up, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to share ill treatment with the people of God than to enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. He considered abuse suffered for the Christ to be greater wealth than the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking ahead to the reward. By faith, he left Egypt, unafraid of the king's anger, for he persevered as though he saw him who is invisible. By faith, he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood, so that the destroyer of the firstborn would not touch the firstborn of Israel. By faith, the people passed through the Red Sea as if it were dry land. But when the Egyptians attempted to do so, they were drowned. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell after they had been encircled for 7 days. By faith, Rahab the prostitute did not perish with those who were disobedient, because she had received the spies in peace. And what more should I say? For time would fail me to tell of Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, of David and Samuel and the prophets. For through faith conquered kingdoms, administered justice, obtained promises, shut the mouths of lions, quenched raging fire, escaped the edge of the sword, won strength out of weakness, became mighty in war, put foreign armies to flight. Women received their dead by resurrection. Others were tortured, refusing to accept release in order to obtain a better resurrection. Others suffered mocking and flogging, and even chains and imprisonment. They were stoned to death. They were sawn in two. They were killed by the sword. They went about in skins of sheep and goats, destitute, persecuted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and mountains, and in caves and holes in the ground. Yet all these, though they were commended for their faith, did not receive what was promised, since God had provided something better, so that they would not, without us, be made perfect. Psalm 48. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God. His holy mountain, beautiful in elevation, is the joy of all the earth. Mount Zion, in the far north, the city of the great King. Within its citadels, God has shown himself a sure defense. Then the kings assembled. They came together. As soon as they saw it, they were astounded. They were in panic. They took to flight. Trembling took hold of them there, pains as of a woman in labor, as when an east wind shatters the ships of Tarshish. As we have heard, so we have seen in the city of the Lord of hosts, in the city of our God, which God establishes forever. Selah. We ponder your steadfast love, O God, in the midst of your temple. Your name, O God, like your praise, reaches to the ends of the earth. Your right hand is filled with victory. Let Mount Zion be glad. Let the towns of Judah rejoice because of your judgments. Walk about Zion, go all around it, count its towers, consider well its ramparts, go through its citadels, that you may tell the next generation that this is God, our God, forever and ever. He will be our guide forever. Thus ends the reading today. Never walk alone.